Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Miss Anne Marie, and I am your host. This is your teacher, Miss Chelsea. Today we will conclude our learning about animals.
Thank you, Miss Anne Marie. Today's lesson is titled Vertebrate Animals Around the World. Miss Anne Marie, can you think of an animal that lives in our community? How would you classify this animal?
Well, I see squirrels all the time. I would classify that animal as a mammal because it has hair and is a vertebrate.
That's right, Miss Anne Marie. Today, we're going to look at animals from 5 vertebrate groups that live all over the world in many different habitats.
I know what habitat means. That means their home.
Correct. We'll be learning about vertebrate animals in 7 very different places.
Before we begin, let's talk about vocabulary words that we will encounter during the read aloud.
The first word is alpine. This is a characteristic of the Alps, a mountain range in Europe, living high in the mountains above the tree line. I'm going to add that definition to our anchor chart.
Miss Chelsea, I have a picture of the Alps, or the Alpine Mountains, that I'm going to put up there to help us remember.
Oh, good. I love visuals. Our next word is antifreeze. This is a substance that keeps liquids from freezing. We use antifreeze in our cars to keep them running in the winter.
Miss Chelsea, that sounds like an important fluid. Here's an image of some antifreeze in a glass container. Can you say antifreeze aloud, boys and girls? Very good.
Great job. All right, our next word is delta. The delta is a triangular area found where a stream or river flows into a bigger body of water and deposits mud and sand in a fan-shaped area.
Oh, I know all about the delta. My grandparents lived near the delta of the Mississippi River.
Oh.
Here I have an image that may help us better understand what a delta is.
Great. That really helps me remember. Here's our next word, host.
I know what host is. A host is someone who throws a party. I love being a host.
Well, that is true, but host in our text today, it means the animal or plant on which another organism lives. Let's add that definition to our chart.
Okay, so it's not a party, but like the tick on a cat in this picture?
Yeah, you got it. Let's add that visual to our anchor chart to help kind of anchor that memory in our memories. The next word, boys and girls, is reproduction.
Isn't reproduction when an animal has a baby?
Well, you're partly right. The correct definition of reproduction is the process that allows a plant or animal to produce offspring or young of their own kind. Let's add that definition of. This visual right here, the reproductive cycle of a frog, that'll help us remember. Can you say reproduction? Good.
Great job working with us on those words so far. Our next word is tentacles.
Tentacles are the long, flexible body parts that stick out around the head or mouth and are used for feeling and grasping. There's our definition. Now let's think of something that might have tentacles. An octopus has 8 tentacles. We'll add a visual of an octopus on our anchor chart. Boys and girls, can you think of another animal that has tentacles? That's right. I heard someone say jellyfish. That was a great vocabulary review, boys and girls. I think we're ready to dive in with new knowledge. So the past few lessons, you've learned about each vertebrate group: amphibians, mammals, birds, fish, and reptiles. You know about many characteristics that taxonomists use to classify these animals. The scientific classification system, taxonomy, uses these names: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, and genus, and species, to describe the groups from largest to smallest. When they classify animals, taxonomists compare and contrast animal habitats, physical characteristics, skin coverings, feeding habits, and reproduction.
So today, we're going to look at 7 different locations on planet Earth. 1 location on each of the continents of the world. We can use our new knowledge to practice classifying a few of the animals that live in each place, like the scientists do.
All right, first stop, the American desert. Here are some examples of animals you may find in the North American desert. As I say their names, see if you can find them. The western diamondback rattlesnake, the Gila woodpecker, the desert bighorn sheep in the background, the roadrunner, the banded Gila monster, the bobcat, and the turkey vulture. By looking at these animals, are you able to classify them?
Well, the bobcat and the sheep are both covered in fur, so we know they are mammals.
Good. What about the Gila monster?
The Gila monster is a reptile, one of only 2 venomous lizards in America. Wow.
Wow. Well, what kind of animal is this rattlesnake, which is also covered in scales?
It is also a reptile. It is venomous as well, and it is one of the few reptiles that gives birth to live young.
Oh, got it. Great job, boys and girls, for helping us find those animals. Let's move on to the Amazon rainforest in South America. Native to the rainforest are the spotted jaguar, the green anaconda, the 3-toed sloth, the red-bellied piranha, the blue and yellow macaw, the pink-toed tarantula, and the caiman, which looks like a small crocodile. The anaconda and the caiman are both covered in scales. The bird should be an easy one to spot. The only one with wings and feathers is the macaw. And the piranha should be familiar to you all as well. These are pallowfish relatives. The jaguar and sloth both belong to the same group. Can you name that group?
I can name the group, Miss Chelsea. It's mammals.
Great job! They are mammals. We can tell because they are covered in fur. As you learned, mammals give birth to live babies. Does this dark, hairy spider belong to one of the vertebrate groups we've studied?
No, the pink-toed tarantula is an invertebrate. It's cold-blooded, has an exoskeleton, and is a member of the arachnid group.
Oh, okay. Let's look at some of the animals that make their homes high in the alpine mountains of Europe. What do you see in the background, there on the rocks?
That is the rock ptarmigan, and it lives in the Alps. So does the black alpine salamander, the marmot, the golden eagle, the Apollo butterfly, and the pine marten.
Which one do you think is not a member of any vertebrate groups we've studied?
The butterfly.
Yes, the butterfly is an invertebrate and is classified in the largest group of animals on Earth, insects. The black alpine salamander shares characteristics with both a lizard and a frog. Think about how you would classify it. It's a moist-skinned amphibian, but an unusual one that lives only on land and gives birth to fully developed live young. What two-legged feathered animals do you see?
The birds?
Yes. The birds pictured here are the ptarmigan and the golden eagle. And mammals? Are there any fur-covered creatures in the Alps?
Yes, the marmot and the pine marten.
Very good. The Ganges Delta of India on the continent of Asia is home to swamps, forests, and creeks. The animals that live there include the black-crowned night heron, the wild boar, the olive ridley turtle, the Ganges river dolphin, the Indian python, the blue-eared kingfisher, the mugger crocodile, and the cheetal. Can you spot the cold-blooded reptiles here?
You bet. The crocodile, the turtle, and the python are all representatives of the reptile group.
Very good. Which ones are warm-blooded mammals?
Well, that would be the boar or wild pig and the cheetal, a common deer of the area.
Oh. The polluted waters of the Ganges River have ruined the habitat for a number of animals, and the river dolphin is endangered because of the river's pollution. Only one of the 4 river dolphin species in the world. It is a mammal just like its ocean-loving relatives. The Ganges river dolphin is sometimes called the blind dolphin. Each of its eyes lack a lens to give it clear vision, but it still uses its eyes to help it find direction. And of course, our feathered friends of the sky, the kingfisher and the heron, those are both birds. Boys and girls, I've bet you've seen pictures of many large game animals that make their homes in the savannas of Africa. They include the giraffe, the elephant, the hyena, the wildebeest, the lion, the zebra, and the impala. All of these animals belong to the same vertebrate group. What are they?
That's right, boys and girls, they're mammals.
Yes. So birds like the hornbill and the quilla live there as well. And venomous reptiles, snakes like the gaboon and the black mamba are deadly to their prey in the savannas. Let's keep moving. The Great Barrier Reef of Australia. This is home to many different sea animals. Animals here include the bottlenose dolphin, the anemone fish, the blue-spotted stingray, the box jellyfish, the black-tipped reef shark, and the leatherback sea turtle. Is the jellyfish a fish?
No. In spite of its name, the jellyfish is an invertebrate and has no gills.
Oh, I see. Be sure to notice the jellyfish's long tentacles. So do you think that the anemone fish is a fish or not?
Yes, it is a fish. It's also called the clownfish because of its colorful markings, and it lives among the tentacles of another invertebrate, the sea anemone.
Oh, I think I knew that. The sea turtle belongs to the reptile group. And you probably remember, boys and girls, that the dolphin is a milk-producing mammal that breathes with its lungs. How about the shark?
Miss Chelsea, the shark is a fish too. It breathes through gills, and unlike the dolphin, it does not provide milk for its young.
Gotcha. I see the difference. The dolphin uses its lungs to breathe, and the shark uses its gills. Finally, let's look at Antarctica, the southernmost continent and one of the coldest places on Earth. Emperor penguins live in its icy waters, along with blue whales and humpback whales. Leopard seals, skua, and snow petrels spend half the year in darkness in this frozen coastal region. Only 2 vertebrate animal groups are found on the land in Antarctica. Do you know what they are?
Awesome, boys and girls. They are mammals and birds.
Yes. You learned that these 2 groups also share another common characteristic as well. Mammals and birds are both warm-blooded. The energy in the food they eat is used to warm their bodies and keep them from freezing. These Arctic animals survive in harsh, frozen conditions, and they are largely dependent on krill, the tiny shrimp-like crustaceans with exoskeletons that live in the waters beneath the ice packs. They are the primary or main source of food for the predators of Antarctica. A few fish have adapted in an interesting way to survive in the cold waters surrounding Antarctica. The ice fish has a special chemical in its body that acts like antifreeze and keeps it from freezing. Here we see an underwater and an above water view of this clever school of fish. There are so many interesting facts about Earth's animals. Let's each share an interesting fact that we have learned about vertebrate animals so far. Think for a moment about the interesting fact that you wish to share. Turn to someone close to you and share your vertebrate fact.
Those were some great facts, boys and girls. Miss Chelsea, didn't they share some great things?
They really did. I loved hearing all those great facts. All right, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed our text today. Now let's see if we can remember some of the most important details by answering some questions.
Oh, I love question time, and I'm sure the boys and girls will know all of the answers.
Great. Let's get started. First question. You heard that the Sonora Desert is found on the continent of North America. 2 of the animals shown in this illustration are venomous: the western diamondback rattlesnake and the banded Gila monster. To which vertebrate group do they belong?
I think I can help the boys and girls out. They belong to the reptiles because they have dry, scaly skin.
Great explanation, Miss Anne Marie. Our next question. You learned about the Amazon rainforest, which is found on the continent of South America. Two animals shown, the spotted jaguar and the three-toed sloth, are mammals. Based on what you see, how do you know they're mammals?
Well, Miss Chelsea, I know they're mammals because they have fur.
That's right. What about the pink-toed tarantula? He lives in this ecosystem as well. Is he a vertebrate or an invertebrate?
A tarantula is an invertebrate because it has an exoskeleton or a skeleton on the outside of its body.
That's correct. So let's keep going. Our next question. This illustration shows the Alpine Mountains on the continent of Europe. The black alpine salamander's method of reproduction makes it a pattern breaker. How is its reproduction process different from other amphibians?
Well, Miss Chelsea, the alpine salamander lives its entire life on land and gives birth to live babies. Other amphibians lay eggs in wetlands and live part of their lives in water.
Yes, that's what makes it a pattern breaker. Very good, Miss Anne-Marie, for helping us. Shown here is the Ganges River Delta in India, on the continent of Asia. Point to the animals shown in the illustration that are warm-blooded.
Very good, boys and girls. All the birds, like the black-crowned night heron and the blue-eared kingfisher, and all the mammals, such as the wild boar, Ganges river dolphin, cheetah, are all warm-blooded mammals.
Great observations, boys and girls. All right, you learned about large game mammals that live in the savanna on the continent of Africa. To which other vertebrate group do the venomous gaboon and black mamba belong?
These two snakes belong to the reptile group because they have dry, scaly skin and are cold-blooded.
That is correct, boys and girls. Reptiles are all cold-blooded. In the read aloud, you learned about the Great Barrier Reef along the coast of the continent of Australia. Two of the animals shown are the black-tipped reef shark and the blue-spotted stingray. To what vertebrate group do they belong?
Very good. These two animals belong to the fish group. Fish are fully aquatic. They breathe through their gills and they have skeletons made of cartilage.
Yes, you're correct. This group lives in the water. From this image, you may remember some animals you learned about that live in the ice shelves of Antarctica, the Earth's southernmost continent. Which two groups of warm-blooded animals are well represented in the cold Antarctic?
Miss Chelsea, the two warm-blooded groups in the Antarctic are birds and mammals.
Yes, and we can see penguins, seals, whales, and birds in our image. After hearing today's read aloud and comprehension questions, do you have any remaining questions?
No, Miss Chelsea, I have learned so much from this lesson.
Thank you, Miss Anne-Marie, and thank you, boys and girls, for your participation and hard work today. I loved our time together as we built our knowledge on vertebrate animals.
All rights and credits for this lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them publicly for sharing these materials. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Bye.